In 1933, a government told its citizens there was a terrifying enemy outside the walls. They said, "Trust us, give up your freedoms, and we'll keep you safe." Sound familiar? That's not a history lesson, that's the opening premise of Attack on Titan, a manga written in 2009 by a 19-year-old from rural Japan. Today, we're going to decode why Attack on Titan isn't just anime. It's the most accurate geopolitical manual of the 21st century. And by the end of this video, you'll never watch the news the same way again. In AOT, the people of Paradis have lived behind 3 concentric walls for 100 years. And they don't know what's outside. They don't question it. The government calls it protection. But we, the audience, slowly realize it's a prison. A very comfortable one. Now, let's talk about real walls. The Berlin Wall, built in 1961, not to keep enemies out, but to keep citizens in. The East German government told people it was an anti-fascist protection barrier. Sound familiar? Or the Great Firewall of China, a digital wall. 1.4 billion people have access to a version of the internet that doesn't include YouTube, Google, or Wikipedia. Not because of external threats, but because the government decided what truths were acceptable. In both cases, the logic is identical to Wall Maria. The wall isn't protecting you from what's outside. It's controlling what you know about it. Isayama didn't invent this. He documented it. But the walls are only the first mechanism, because every authoritarian system needs more than a barrier. It needs an enemy. In AOT, that enemy is the Titans. Mindless, terrifying, human-shaped monsters that eat people for no reason. Perfect, horrifying, and crucially, impossible to negotiate with. That's a very important design choice. Because you can't make peace with a monster. You can only fear it and fight it and thank the government for protecting you from it. Political scientists call this othering. The process of making a group of people seem so foreign, so threatening, that normal moral rules no longer apply to them. Nazi Germany did it with Jewish people. Rwanda did it with the Tutsi, calling them inyenzi, cockroaches. The US media did it with Arab populations after 9/11. In every case, the logic is the same. Dehumanize the enemy enough, and the population will accept any measure taken against them. Any. And then, in Season 2 of AOT, Isayama does something extraordinary. Something that no propaganda system can survive. He reveals the truth. The Titans aren't monsters. They're human beings. People who were turned into weapons by the very system claiming to protect Paradis. That moment, when Eren realizes his enemy is human, is the most important scene in the series, because it's the moment every citizen of every authoritarian state eventually faces, when the propaganda breaks down. But what happens when someone actually lives through that moment? When a person raised on lies discovers the full weight of the truth? That brings us to the most controversial part of the entire series, and the part that is most relevant to our world in 2026. The rumbling. Eren, having been oppressed his entire life, having lost everything to a system that lied to him, decides the only solution is to destroy everyone outside Paradis first. He becomes what he fought. He does to the world exactly what was done to his people. After World War I, Germany was humiliated by the Treaty of Versailles. The reparations were so severe, the humiliation so complete, that a generation of Germans turned to a man who promised revenge. We know how that ended. This is called the cycle of violence. And it is not a fictional concept. After decades of Western-backed authoritarian regimes in the Middle East, we got the conditions for extremism to flourish. The oppressed became the threat. The rumbling is always the response to an unjust peace. What makes Isayama a genius is that he doesn't give us a hero. Eren is simultaneously right about the oppression and wrong about the solution. He makes us feel the weight of that impossible choice. That's exactly what real geopolitics feels like from the inside. No clean answers, no heroes, just cycles of fear and retaliation. Unless someone finds the courage to break the chain. So here's the question Isayama leaves us with, and the same question history keeps asking. If you grew up behind a wall, you and everything you were told turned out to be a lie. What do you do with that anger? Do you build new walls? Or do you tear them down? The answer to that question has shaped every major geopolitical event of the last 100 years, and it will shape the next 100. Attack on Titan doesn't have a happy ending, but it has an honest one. And maybe that is more valuable. If this kind of analysis interests you, where manga meets political reality, this channel is exactly that. Subscribe, because next week we're looking at how Fullmetal Alchemist predicted the collapse of petrostates. And trust me, you won't want to miss it. And drop your answer in the comments right now. Which regime's playbook do you think AOT maps onto most closely? I read every single one.